Namaste students. Computer Science, first PUC Computer Science, chapter Software Concepts. So computer languages. So last class we studied about computer languages. Divided into that one, language translators are there, next utilities are there, linkers, loaders are there, etc. So what do you mean by computer language? Computer language is nothing but it's a programming language. See, under this one, computer language, low level languages are there, high level languages are there. So all those things we studied in last year, last session. So what do you mean by low level language? Low level language means machine understandable mode, high level language means user understandable mode. So under low level language there are two types, machine level and assembly level. But assembly level we can't say it's a purely low level language, but it uses some software called assembler, and it uses some what we can say English like statements called mnemonics. Some symbols are used, or we can say we can represent, or we can use some instruction by using some symbolic constants or symbols. So symbols can be implemented as a commands of some particular program or instruction. So these are about computer languages. So first one is low level and high level. So under low level, machine level language, so all the instructions must be in the form of 0 and 1, and it is purely machine understandable mode, and it is machine dependent also. So you can take second one, that is assembly level language. So under this one, assembly level language, so assemblers are used. Actually assembler means it's a software which is used to convert assembly level language to machine level language. So what do you mean by assembly level language? See, assembly level language uses mnemonics, means English like statements, which is used to convert what we can say assembly program to machine code. Assembly program to machine code, and here assembly level language we can't say it's a purely low level language, but just because it uses some user understandable mode like mnemonics. Okay, next one is high level language. So what do you mean by high level language? High level language, actually it's a user understandable mode, and here some high level language programs are what we can say C++, Java, Visual C++, Python. These all come under high level languages. But in high level languages we need language translators. So we need language translators. So there are three types of high level languages. So first one is interpreter, and second one is compiler. So normally according to your textbook it is two types of language translators, interpreters and compilers. But we can say some other language translator is assembler also. Even though it is considered as low level language, we can take it as a language translator. That means which is to convert assembly level language to low level language. But here we can use interpreter and compiler as language translators. See, difference between interpreter and compiler is given in last class. Interpreter means it will take instruction by instruction, and here it will take it is very easy to debug also, and here it will take a single instruction and it will display all the errors, warnings pertaining to that particular instruction. But what happens in compiler? Actually compiler is it's very fast we can say, and here it is not so easy to debug, so it will take entire program at a time or once, and it will display all the errors, warnings to the particular program. So these are about the difference between interpreter and compiler, and whenever you compare to this one, compiler, it is costly and interpreter is cheap. And here interpreter is time consuming and compiler is not time consuming, it is very fast. Okay, these are about language translators. Next one is utilities. Actually utility means it's a kind of software, it is available in all the operating systems. Actually some utilities are text editors. Text editors are some utilities, and you can take some other utilities, or we can say antivirus softwares, and some electronic spreadsheets also we can consider it as utilities. Disk fragmentor and some system restore and system tools are considered as utilities. Okay, these are about utilities. Next one is linkers and loaders. Actually linkers are normally available in any programming language or computer languages, which is used to establish link to the any programming language library. For example, suppose if you want to use some input formats or statements in any programming language, here we can make use of linkers. Linkers are used to connect our program to the linker. Linker means which is used to link some particular modules. Modules means regarding to some built-in functions. So modules are linked by using the linkers. So linker is very important software. Next one is loader. So loader is also another software. Actually these are come under system softwares. So what happens in loaders is loader which is used to load all the current programs instructions which are necessary to run a current program from the secondary storage to main storage or secondary memory to main memory. It is one of the most important application in any system softwares, right? Or in any operating systems also. Okay, these are about some computer languages and then language translators, utilities, linkers, loaders in any programming softwares. So it's very important. Next, last class we studied about operating systems, functions of operating system. So what do you mean by an operating system? An operating system is a software which acts as a what we can say communicate with the user or acts as an interface between user and computer, user and hardware, user and hardware. So directly it's not possible to communicate with the computer or hardware. So we need operating system. So operating system works as an interface between user and computer. So it's the most important functions of operating systems. Here first one is memory management. Memory management means it will be main memory or secondary memory. So normally whenever we talk about memory means it's main memory only. So it's a main function of operating system is allocating the memory to a particular program and deallocating. So whenever program requires memory, so it will allocate the memory and deallocate the memory when program exits. That means when it starts the execution, then it will come out from the particular memory or it will deallocate the memory. Next one is process management, and here also process allocating and deallocating, and here it may use some algorithm or some job scheduling algorithm also, like round robin. That means there are many jobs or processes at a time. It's not possible to execute the same process simultaneously. It's not possible. So that's why we need to allocate some CPU time to the processor or process. So it is called as process management. Process management. Next one is device management. It's already last class already explained these all things. So device management means allocating the device to the particular operating system, particular process. So device like hardware resources, printers, fax machines, scanners, etc. Next one is file management. So what do you mean by file management? That means keeping the file in somewhere or performing saving, creating, updating and what we can say modification, editing, etc. These are come under file management. Next, protection and security. Protection means each and every operating system, it should follow some security options in such a way that it should be provide some security features to all the files and directory system also. So without providing security feature, so what happens is it may lead to some deadlock or it may lead to some other problems. Next, user interface. It is the main function of operating system. An operating system must be user friendly, otherwise it's not possible to use by the common people. So it should be user friendly. And last one is command interpreter. Command interpreter means it's another problem is nowadays operating system Windows 10 is available, next Linux available, and one more thing is sometimes we need to process such operating system, we need some command line interface also. Command line interface means we need to interact with the computer using command line interface, using the commands. Okay, these are about command interpreters. So last class we studied about different types of operating systems, that means based on the working and their conditions. So there are two types. One is character user interface, second one is graphical user interface. Character user interface means each and every instructions must be in the form of commands. So olden days, first operating system discovered That is Unix operating system. Unix operating system. Actually, Unix operating system is very what we can say efficient algorithm operating system, and it is command line interface or character user interface. And the same time, Microsoft DOS means disk operating system. Disk operating system is another operating system. It's also based on the command line interface or character user interface. So it's very important. Next one is GUI, graphical user interface. So what is the difference between GUI and GUI? GUI means we have to type out each and everything, and graphics options are not there. So there are some commands to view all the functions. Suppose if you want to see the time, just we have to type time and it will appear. But in this case, in graphical user interface, graphics options are there, so we can it is visible. All the objects, icons are visible, just like Linux operating system. Under this one is the advanced version of Unix. So under MS-DOS, Windows 95 is one of the graphical user interface. So last class we studied all those things, and today's section we have to discuss about what are the different parts about the software concepts. Okay students, next move on to this one, types of operating system. We know operating system means it's a software that acts as an interface between user and computer, or we can say it's just like a language to exchange the information between user and hardware or user and computer, right? Here there are different types of operating systems. First one is single user operating system. Single user operating system, that means a single user can work by using this operating system. It is called as single user operating system. That means a user, he is sitting in that computer, only he can perform some operations on that particular operating system. It is called as single user operating system. Some single user operating systems are, example to this one is DOS, disk operating system, or Windows operating systems like 95, 98, Windows NT, XP, etc. So, second one is batch processing operating system. So, what do you mean by batch processing operating system? See, it's another type of operating system. Thing is, why it is called so is, there are many jobs. See, main purpose of operating system is to process some jobs or process some programs. See, here what happens is batch processing system or batch operating system means first it collects all the jobs. First it collects all the jobs. For example, we are going to execute J1, J2, J3, J4. 4 jobs are there. So first thing is it collects all the jobs and make them into some batches or some groups, and then we are going to provide that one to the system. Or we are going to, that means that particular user is going to provide that job or sequence of jobs or batches of jobs to the system, and there is no human intervention or there is no human interference while jobs are executing. See, job collection is offline, no need to be in online. So first collecting the jobs and make them into some groups and providing that one to the system. So it is one of the batch processing operating system, and many batch processing operating systems are there. And nowadays we can say DOS is a type of operating system. Actually, batch processing operating system, it is based on the work. Actually, many operating system works under this one, batch processing things. Actually, it's a concept only, not it's not individual operating system. We can't say it's an individual operating system. Let it be there. Next one is multi-programming operating system. Multi-programming means execution of more than one program simultaneously. More than one program. That means executing or running more than one program simultaneously. It is called as multi-programming operating system. Multi-programming operating system. And here there are some other operating systems under multi-programming. So it is multitasking. That means more than one task is executed simultaneously. It is multitasking. See, we can take some example for this one. Multitasking means whenever you are doing some task, for example, you are typing some Word documents, at the same time, in any desktop, at the same time, you can listen to the music also. And such things, or we can take it as an example for this one. Actually, such example is called as multitasking. That means more than one task executed simultaneously, and it is called as multitasking operating system. Okay, next, multi-user operating system. See, example to multitasking means you can take it as Unix, Linux, and Fedora Core, etc. Unix, Linux, Fedora Core, etc. come under this one, multitasking operating system. Next, multi-user operating system. So what do you mean by multi-user? More than one user. Any Windows operating system except Windows Server or Windows 2003 Server. So all other operating systems are supportable to this one, suitable to the multi-user. That means more than one user can work on that operating system. That means not in a single terminal, That means in case if you are using the server, and if Linux operating system is installed in that server, and using that Linux operating system, more than one user execute or run the program, and such operating system is called as multi-user operating system. And another is most important, that is time sharing. And to perform such operation, time sharing, we need some algorithm. It may be round robin algorithm or any other algorithm. So I'll explain this one. What do you mean by time sharing? See, for example, we have some jobs. Like you can say J1, J2, J3 and J4, and here it is a processor. Thing is, main purpose of using operating system is allocating processor time to the jobs, or we can say allotting the processor time to the each job in such a way that using some algorithm, first it allocates to this one J1. If it finishes within that time interval, then it is okay. Otherwise, CPU time will be allocated to another job. And here also like this. So it may use some algorithm called round robin scheduling. Round robin scheduling means like this. See, the processor time is allocated to this one, job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, in such a way that, for example, if you are taking 1 microsecond. So J1 P, that means processor is allocated to J1 for 1 microsecond. So within that time interval, it should finish that job. Otherwise, it may go to the next one, J2. The same manner, J2 also it should finish within 1 microsecond. Otherwise, it may go for J2 and J4 like this. Again, it will execute same. So this type of operating system is called as time sharing. Actually, it's a concept like batch processing. That means allocating CPU time to each job. So why it is so? That means what is the purpose of allocating the time? That is to avoid the deadlock. Avoid the deadlock means what? Actually, operating system, it may crash. What we can say, it may fail in case if you are going to execute more than one job at a time. So CPU is not possible to allocate all the timings or time slices to all the jobs. So that's why, to avoid deadlock or system crash, so we need some round robin scheduling algorithm or any other algorithm, and such concept is called as time sharing. Next one is real time. So what do you mean by real time? Actually, real time means collection of events. That means it's almost similar to the online. So what do you mean by online? Online ticket reservation, online examination, online teaching also. That means whatever I am going to tell you, the same time students can access. And they can act according to that. Okay, whatever. So real time scheduling means that will be triggered to the particular event. So in case if you are using online system, if you are going to reserve some time or reserve time some tickets, airline tickets. For example, if you are going to reserve some seats, so what happens is according to real time, that numbers and seats are automatically locked. So it is pertaining to, that means it is regarding on the, what we can say, that particular event. So these are about real time. Actually real time and online, all online systems are real time and not all real time systems online. So there are some difference between online and real time that we will see in later sessions. Next one is distributed. So what do you mean by distributed? Distributed operating system means here in this operating system all the resources are distributed. So whenever you need such operating system you can access. So that is distributed. Okay, next one is network operating system. Actually it is mainly purpose of using network operating system is allocating operating system to the network, like novel network, or you can see Unix. You can see Unix also one of the network operating system. So what happens is it will allocate the computer, deallocate the computer, and it may perform some operations regarding to the network. It is mainly based on network operating system, and shortly it is also called as MOS. So example to network operating system is Novel Network and Unix. Next one is multi-threading. See, threading means sequence of instructions in a program. It is called as threading. So what happens is in some operating system we can use such operating system to share the same data area, to share the same hardwares, etc. Okay, these are called multi-threading. Multi-threading means using the same sequence of instructions. It is called as multi-threading. So this one is very important. You can expect this question for final examination for 5 marks. So all the things are very important. Just go through that. Okay, students. Next we will see, so what are the different types of operating systems available in this world and available in the market also, and what are the things here, and first one is DOS. DOS means disk operating system, and it is 1980s, it is during 1980s, designed by Bill Gates and Paul Allen. It is single user operating system. Actually, before this one, see, disk operating system is single operating system, and one more thing is it is command line interface or character user interface operating system. And second one is Unix. Unix is developed by Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson, and it is most powerful operating system. Unix as an operating system. While during the manufacture or during the invention or developing of this Unix operating system, so what happened is it's not user friendly. So that's why it's quite not much popular as disk operating system. So whatever it is invented during 1980s and above, below that one, we can say before 1980. It was invented before 1980. Next one is Linux operating system. Actually it is designed after Unix operating system, and here it is developed by Finnish University student Linus Torvalds. And here shell programming and kernel programming is available. And one more thing is it is open source. See, Linux operating system is open source and machine independent, and compatibility and portability is there. Next operating system is Solaris operating system, and Solaris operating system is Unix based and developed by Sun Microsystems. It is during 1992, and there is a user interface for internet browsers, video players, and office suites. Okay, these are about different operating systems, and now we can study about Windows 7 also. Windows 7 means user friendly, and here office automation tools are there, and it is very user friendly. like 2007 Word and 2010 Word is also there. Office automation like electronic spreadsheets, text editor Word. Next presentation tool is PowerPoint, and then database is MS Office Access, Microsoft Access. Okay, these are all come under this one. So what we can say, Windows 7, and here it is Solaris operating system. It is Unix based, microsystems 97, and user interface for internet browsers and video players and office suites. And under Windows 7 it is developed by Microsoft company. And nowadays it is very popular. Operating systems are Windows 7 to Windows 8 is there, Windows Vista, it is between Windows 7 and Windows 8, and then Windows 10 also there. Now it is Windows 10, and Windows 10 32-bit is there, 64-bit is there. So it is very popular operating system. Okay, these are about today's session, and today we discussed about functions of operating systems, computer languages, language translators, utilities, and then we studied about what functions of operating systems, and then different types of operating systems, different types of operating systems, and we studied about some popular operating systems. Okay, we'll see in the next session.